and we are going to get started because you guys are all on time and we waited a moment. So with that being said, guys, welcome and thank you so much for spending tonight with me. We're going to take about an hour, maybe a little bit less. And what we're going to be talking about tonight specifically is what and how to prospect and recruit using your MarketAmerica.com website. And so we're going to talk specifically about social media strategies that work to actually drive traffic to that MarketAmerica.com site, how to get people filling out those lead capture forms on your website, as well as how to follow up. So if you do get a lead capture in, which you will if you do this right, it will happen for you if you refine your technique and and we work together to get there. What do you say? So I have a lot of people that say, okay, well, you guys are getting 2 to 3 leads per week through your website. What are you saying to them? And the answer is it depends on what they said to me, right? So I don't have a copy and pasted approach to how I'm responding to the leads that we do get through the website, but I do have somewhat of a format that I follow, or a goal in mind that I follow, and and of course I adjust accordingly based on who I'm talking to and what they said to me. So I'm going to show you exactly how we do it and how we recommend that you try it. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is that MarketAmerica.com site becoming like the ultimate resource for what I like to call connecting the dots for all your prospects. So that is, our job in the business is to connect the dots for prospects. Where are you at here? How do we get you to evaluate the business, and how do you get you from point A to point B? And once you've seen the plan, how do we connect the dots for you? Meaning, what else do you need to know? What else do you want research on, or statistics or facts on? Great, we connect those dots for you. Or what did you find interesting? Great, I'm going to connect you with that. And then from there, your goal is obviously to create a business partner, or work through them to get other referrals or leads, and you're connecting the dots from point A to point B to point C. And so MarketAmerica.com can be a really fantastic resource for you when it comes to that. And so essentially, this entire webinar is going to break down into those 3 parts. And MarketAmerica.com is going to be kind of like the resource or the tool that we use to help us to really be effective and really help with the conversion. So it's not just posting on social media and seeing what happens. It's posting on social media and learning how to drive to MarketAmerica.com. And then it's using MarketAmerica.com and leveraging the fact that you have a place, a nice place where anybody that's checking out your site, including people you know, and mostly, I want to say that again, mostly people that you know, are reading about the business behind your back. They're stalking your website, reading about the business behind your back. And it's a nice place where they can quietly ask for more information, teaching you how to get them to do that, what to say when they do that, and then how to leverage the site even further and the rest of that person's evaluation process, where your job is to connect the dots. So it's kind of a lot, but it's very simple, which is the good part. Like, it really just comes down to being a person and understanding what you have, because essentially if you don't know what you have, then you certainly won't leverage that resource. You certainly won't leverage the website or understand what to do with the lead capture at all if you don't even know what it is or what it does. So I hope I can make this very simple and break it down for everybody tonight. But again, I'm really excited about this because I was talking to a couple of friends and colleagues at the company, and I was just saying, they were saying, oh, lead captures don't work. And I'm like, well, lead captures can work. They can work, but we have to get our mindset right. The expectation for us in the field isn't that our MarketAmerica.com/our name and the lead capture is just going to come with prospects. It's not like the website comes in a box with a bunch of people. Our job in that process is to expose the website in an effective way and send people to the website so that they will funnel through that lead capture. And I think that's probably where the biggest disconnect for a lot of people lies. And if you can understand some strategies that work to drive good traffic, you might see some difference in the result. I know for us, literally, we get up to 3 a week that are coming in. And half the time it's people that we engaged with on social media. Sometimes it's just like people that we know in our lives that were just checking out our site. And very once in a while, it's a random person that stumbled on our site through like Google or something else. But I have to be completely honest with you guys, like 90% of the people that come through that lead capture form are coming through because of social media and because of interpersonal interactions that we're having with people that we know. So yes, I'm seeing comments. I know you're not seeing anything except for my face right now, but don't worry, I have a lot of great slides, so I can switch it off of that in a second. I just wanted to talk to everybody first and kind of get everybody, a nice understanding of what we're going to be going through. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch now. So you should be seeing the slide right now. And so firstly, there's 3 things that we do in this business, right? The first thing that we do is use and sell our products, right? The shopping annuity and create customers. The second thing that we do is we share and expose the business. And the third thing that we do is we promote education, right, through our events and our GMTSS. Well, with MarketAmerica.com, if you're going to make the most out of that website, you have to understand predominantly which of the 3 important results-producing activities does MarketAmerica.com support the most. Can it help you with using and selling products and promoting education? Absolutely. But the primary focus and purpose of MarketAmerica.com is to help you to share the business and create prospects and thus create new unfranchised business partners for your organization. So I start this off, and I like to start all of my presentations off with this because as a company, we tend to release a lot of technology, a lot of resources, a lot of websites, so many great things. And these things are incredible, but as franchise owners, we need to understand, how does that new release help me to do one of the 3 results producing activities? And if you don't understand which of the 3 it's going to support, then the chances are you're not going to use it, or you're going to use it as a distraction and not use it the correct way. So it's really critical that before we start anything, that we understand that the most important thing about MarketAmerica.com is exposing the business and creating unfranchised business prospects and working with our prospects. Essentially, it's a recruiting tool. So you have to understand why you have one so that you use it correctly. Now, before we get into all of the lead captures and how to best leverage the site, I thought it would be helpful to give you a very quick 5-minute tour. I encourage you, when we're done with this session, to go back to your website when you're done, and it's marketamerica.com/your name, whatever your handle is, and click through and read the content and understand the content. The more familiar you are with what's on the website, the more likely you are to promote and leverage the different pieces of it, right? It's very simple. You're not going to recommend a book that you have never read. You're likely not going to recommend a restaurant you haven't eaten at or heard great things about. And you're not going to use or leverage parts of your website that you don't understand or that don't even know exist. And so I want to start the whole session off by just giving you a very quick tour of what's there and the quick purpose of it, okay? So we're going to start off with the home page. At the very top, you have a slider, and that changes, and then you have your navigation. And then as you scroll down, you see we switch over to talking in themes and kind of giving a nice window into the business, right? The entire business, which is really what the homepage of any website should be, right? So we talk here about the idea or concept of leading a digital shopping revolution, right? Because we're changing the way people shop and earn money. And then you have 3 big talking points that are great for a prospect. A plan for your success. Why do most people not consider quitting their job, or not even just quitting their job, but maybe they want to start a new business? A big reason why is they don't know how. They don't have the time, they don't have the money, or they don't have the knowledge, right? So one of the highlights of the unfranchised business is we have the how covered, right? Because there's a plan for your success. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And that just is simply, when you click on that, you get a little bit of content that kind of hits your prospect hard with, don't worry, there's support in place. And then you click on the next one, and there's 4 cornerstones for success, the things that make us incredible, our MPCP, our GMTSS, things like that. But again, these are great ways to talk in themes if you're using this as a first look or you're talking somebody through it. It's also great, just great for somebody, like, people may not feel comfortable talking about the business one-on-one right away because it feels like it happened too fast. It's too aggressive of an approach for some people. But if you send them the website and you tell them, hey, check, click around, learn a little bit about what we do, that's a very non-invasive way for somebody to take a look at what you have and what we do. And so clicking around and getting really solid content is important, right? Now, the other thing about this is all credible. This is all like solid information about what the business is. They're not reading some random blog, from some guy that's 60 years old and lives in his mom's basement and tried the business but never did anything, and now he just blogs hate mail in the basement of, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that kind of content. It's facts, and it is just solid information about the company and about the opportunity. So with that being said, the next section, as you scroll down, kind of speaks to our global presence. And what I love about this part of the homepage is that it's not just talking about how, we want to be present in Taiwan because Taiwan is a huge opportunity and they have a great economy and a great population and people, want to work for themselves there. But each of the sliders features where we are located and also gives information about where our offices are located in there. So people can see that we have a physical presence around the world. And honestly, you guys, that makes a really big impact on somebody that's evaluating this, so they understand it's not, even though it's a digital opportunity for us, we do have physical presences all over the world, and uh, and you can see where they are here, and people love that. It's a very, very nice thing for credibility, and it also opens the door in their mind to expand further than just their backyard. Now, the most important part on the homepage is kind of what our focus is going to be on for tonight. At the very bottom of the homepage, you'll notice that there is a lead capture, and it starts off with "You have what it takes." There's a video playlist, and they can watch a little bit about the opportunity there. And then when they click on that blue button that says own your own unfranchised business, it takes them to a form. And when they fill out that form, you get emailed a copy of it. And so when I tell you guys that Ryan and I are getting up to 3 of these or so per week, anywhere from 1 or 2 or 3 of these per week, what happens is somebody clicked on that form because they wanted more information. They put their name in, their email, their phone, and a little comment about what they liked or what they want to know. And so what my goal for tonight's entire session is to teach you how to get more of those forms filled out and the correct way to respond to them so that you can maximize that follow-up and, increase your own conversion when it comes to that. So we're going to get to that later. I just want to continue with the quick tour of MarketAmerica.com. The innovation page features all of the ways that we are leading the way in whether it's marketing trends or technology innovation or our Pay to Shop program, or even the shopping annuity as a whole, which is a brand new way to earn, spend and earn money, or convert spending into earning, right? And so we talk about what the shopping annuity is, and then when you scroll down a little bit further from there, we go into one-to-one marketing, right? And we go into trends and marketing trends. So a lot of you might have remembered in the old UBP, there used to be something that talked about the best qualities of each of the marketing trends, like in the last, I don't know, 50 years or so. And so we have this in here, talking in themes, and then, we took the best from all of those themes, and it all ultimately leads up to what is now the shopping annuity, and that's how we arrived at where we are, right? So we took the best of one-to-one marketing and those personal relationships. We took the best of e-commerce. We took the best of, entrepreneurship and owning your own business. We combined all of those great things, and ultimately that's where the unfranchised business is today. And why it's so successful, and it's why we're leading the way with the shopping annuity. At the next page, we talk about our products. Now, again, all of this stuff, like when people, and you may have heard Big Al talk about it, or other really great business builders in the company, they talk about the importance of talking in themes, right? So talking in themes means if somebody, mentions something or sees something, can you just talk to it? So product brokerage is one of the themes that we all aspire to be able to talk to. Well, the good news is even if you don't know how to talk to that theme yet, it's all good because you have the content neatly and simply written out on your very own website. So what is product brokerage? It's talking about how we actually don't make or manufacture anything, right? All of our products are actually, we broker them. We have exclusive products and we have our partner store products that we broker so that we can match people to product and product to people, but we don't have to worry about market trends or market swings or anything like that, which is actually the next slide. We talk about our exclusive brands and market flexibility, the ability to tap into billion and trillion dollar markets, and that our products, we're not trying to sell ice to Eskimos, we're selling excellent products that people want and people are already spending money on. So, this is incredible. So this is great, and again, like that's a theme that you will, people want to be able to talk to. But if you can't, it's okay. The content is right there on your website, and you can talk to it there. We also offer more information about our products and our partner stores. And the reason that we do that is because essentially if somebody's looking at a business opportunity for themselves, they want to know what kinds of products and services would they have access to offer to their customers or use themselves. And so at the end of the day, if they can't picture themselves as part of the process or liking the products or services or using them, then automatically they might eliminate the possibility from their brain. But the nice thing is that we talk about our partner stores and how it's a win for everybody involved. Your customer is going to win because they're going to get paid to shop. The merchant or the vendor or the store is going to win because they're only paying cash back and IBV when sales are completed, which is really nice because a lot of businesses have these big advertising budgets that they dump into campaigns, and they can't reasonably expect any kind of return on that investment. Well, with shop.com, when they market themselves on our website, it's a win-win-win, and the reason why is because they're not dumping money into anything, right? They're literally only paying when the campaign is successful, which is great. And then of course the unfranchised owner wins because we earn volume and we also accrue volume, group business volume through the MPCP as well. And then when we talk to our exclusive products, it matches the UBP. So again, when you're talking to a prospect, if you say to them isotonics, or you say to them heart health, or Lumiere de Vie, those are all brand names that we love and we understand. But your prospect does not. And I'm actually gonna pause for a second, and I want to just step away from the slide for one moment, and I just want to talk to that one more time. So there's a reason why when you go to MarketAmerica.com in the product section, we organized it by industry. Why it says health and nutrition and beauty and skincare and home and garden and pet care and auto care. The reason why is because we have to remember who is our intended audience, right? Our intended audience is a prospect, which means they're not an unfranchised owner, and they're not going to necessarily resonate with just like, brand names, but they will understand and resonate with the industry. And so we kept that in mind when, as a team, we were writing the website and building it out, because we really want to speak in a language that resonates and that they understand. And I took a moment to highlight that because it's important for us to keep that in mind when we post on social media or when we interact with our friends and family, so that again, we're not using terms or acronyms. We love acronyms in Market America worldwide. The HBP and the UBP and the NUAD and the B5 and the ECCT and the MPCP and the this and the that and the other thing. And so while most of you understood what I just said, with all of that, your prospects are not going to understand that. And so it's very important to think, when you're trying to attract people to your business on social media or in your your interpersonal relationships, speak in a language that your prospect understands and that they can resonate with. Moving on, quality assurance on there, we talk about that and how we ensure good quality. And then we move on to the success page. And honestly, this is probably one of the most powerful pages because it proves that it can work. And the power profile, you know, you have your unfranchised owner spotlight, but you also have on here your $1 Million Club members, and you have your power profiles on there. I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me put that back. You have your power profiles and your $1 Million Club. I personally love the power profiles the most because when people ask me what's the best power profile to send to one of my prospects, the answer isn't necessarily the person that's making the most money. It might be the person that they can connect with the most. And, you know, actually, I think I learned that from Dennis and Kevin, is you want to connect like people with like people. And so if I'm talking to a teacher about this business opportunity, one of the things that you can do on the website is you can search for power profiles by profession, and I can look up power profiles of people that are in the education or the teaching field. And I can kind of find one that I like, one, you know, an unfranchised level I like, or someone, whatever. I can find one I like, and I can share that one with my prospect. And I've done it a million times, you know. So if I am talking to a teacher, I'm not going to necessarily just automatically choose Elizabeth or Joanne Shee. While those are wonderful, wonderful power profiles, the one that might resonate with my teacher the most is another teacher that's a national supervising coordinator and made this work and did it even though they had that career and that full-time job. Maybe they did it instead of, maybe they did it in addition to. Just watch the power profile and then send one that you like the most. It's the best thing. Now, when you send any of these pages, including the power profiles, you want to go to the very bottom of your MarketAmerica.com site, and there's a little link capture situation at the bottom, and it says share this page. It's very, very important that you click at the bottom that link. Do not go, again, I'm going to pause one more time because it's really important. When you share your marketamerica.com/your name or any of your replicated sites, that's Shop, Your Motives, Isotonics, TLS, all of that stuff, you never go to the top and just grab the URL there. You want to go to the bottom, and there's a little section at the bottom that says share this page, and that's the link that you want to grab and share that link. The reason why is it actually captures your / and makes sure to preserve your handle. So if I share a power profile of my favorite teacher power profile with my teacher prospects, I go to the bottom of the website, I click share this page, and I send them that link. It's that simple. Okay. So in addition to all of that, we also have Shopping Annuity Master Members Spotlight. This is text, but there's actually videos there now. And they're basically recorded in the style of a power profile. And if people are looking for how the shopping annuity can work and create success or create volume, these are really great videos that you can share with your prospects. The next page is one of the most important pages. It's the opportunity page. I am just like obsessed with this page because for me, so how many people have felt like when you sit down with a prospect for the first time and you want to talk about the business, it can feel a little bit awkward for a first conversation about the business to be like, oh, let me whip out a flip chart or a PowerPoint presentation. It feels too formal sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes it can feel too formal to go right to the PowerPoint presentation or flip chart. So the thing I love about the opportunity page of marketamerica.com is it's basically a storyboard of the plan. And it walks you through getting them thinking about their own situation, what they want, their goals, their why, and the possibilities for them to make those goals and dreams come true. And so I want to show you some of the highlights from that because I want you to understand that to get the most out of that opportunity page, it's honestly, you can send it to people, they can go through it and they'll go through that emotional experience themselves. But you can also sit down with somebody and just kind of talk them through each section of the website. And then it's like a more informal introduction to the business. over, say, a video or a PowerPoint or a flip chart. It's a really, really personal way and a really great one-to-one marketing type of way for you to interact with your prospect and expose them to the business. So here are a couple of highlights from there. As you're scrolling down that page, the first thing that they're going to see is your plan working? And it shows them, the statistics for the 45-year plan, the average debt in the country, and what the average family is spending versus what they're making. And by the way, of that spend, here's what on average statistically could be redirected to fund a shopping annuity, and that's money you're going to spend anyway. And so those statistics are country specific. So if you're showing this to somebody in Australia, like Kitty or Susie, you click on the Australian flag and you have the Australian statistics. So those are all country specific. Now, once you got them thinking about that, because the chances are is they look at those statistics and they're going to think to themselves, yep, I definitely have debt, or I have mortgage debt, or I have student loan debt. From there, you say, well, what if you had some options, right? Again, you can see that we're slowly storyboarding the conversation. We're just guiding a conversation. And that's probably the biggest thing that people are challenged with when they're talking to their prospects, right? They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know how to guide the conversation. And I'm always a huge advocate for ditching a script and just kind of having a roadmap. And so that was really that's an inspiration behind this page, is let's give people a nice conversational roadmap that they can follow to introduce the big concepts to the business, get them thinking about why, get them thinking, wow, maybe there are some choices out here. And then from there, kind of highlighting the strengths of the unfranchised business, right? So some of our strengths are, we have systemization. We have systemization around the business and business building through the GMTSS and standardized curriculum. And we have systemization with the shopping annuity, right? We make it easy for people to convert money they were going to spend anyway into an ongoing income. And so we have the plan, we have the proven plan in place. Further, if you decide that you would like to specialize in something, or we have proven systems and curriculums around different areas of specialization as well. So there's systemization behind the beauty industry with Motives, and wellness with TLS, or B2B services with Web Centers, or in the health and wellness field, with our health professionals and allied health professionals with Nutrimetrics, right? And so a little bit of highlight on all of the things and all of the ways that the MarketAmerica and unfranchised business opportunity can solve challenges for your prospects. Now, we're almost done with the tour. On the community page, we talk about how do we give back to our community. We highlight all of the money that we donate and the programs that we run and sponsor. And we also have this Connect With Us section, which introduces not just yourself, but your prospects to all of the places that we are visible online, on social media, with blogs, with video, etc. And so, by the way, I highly encourage everybody tonight, if you are not connected with MarketAmerica and Shopping Annuity and our brands and shop.com on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, I highly recommend you visit this page yourself and you click through all the channels and you make sure that you're a fan, because the content that they put out on a daily and weekly basis is very valuable, shareable content. I'm going to say that again. It's valuable, shareable content. So if you're looking for a great testimonial to share, MarketAmerica's Instagram, it features people with their success stories or testimonials. It also features business building tips and products and new releases. Shopping Annuity has great deals and great product information featured. And shop.com also has really great partner store information and things like that. So that's great shareable content on your social media. So if you find something and you share it, it's a great way to basically share a third-party testimonial, right? Which is the same thing as regular retailing. It's just done online. And then finally, the last page that we're going to preview is the company page. And this is probably the most important one in our follow-up efforts, when we talk about that later. Because, at the end of the day, your prospect is going to love everything. They're going to start thinking about themselves, and they might get really excited, but they're also going to want to know, is this a solid company? how long have they been in business? What is their philosophy? What are their best practices? All of that good stuff, right? And so the company page gives a solid description of our company's philosophy right at the very top in our profile. It's followed by a deep look into each of our executive team as well as our management team and science. Everybody's there. And then in addition to all of that, you can see all of the awards that we've won. And that's also featured on the homepage, by the way, like, A+ Better Business Bureau or Top 50 this or Top 500 that. So all of our awards are featured there as well as in the footer of every page and on the homepage. So that's important for credibility, and it's a really important thing for us to be aware of for our follow-up. So our goal again today is to talk about how we can use everything that I just introduced you, all of those pages and the quick tour that I just gave you, so that we can generate interest in our business on social media as well as in our personal conversations. We can use the content on the website to respond to leads and to have some effective follow-up, and we can also use it for follow-up in general. And so that's why I wanted to give you a quick tour. First is I just wanted you to be aware of what was there so that when I reference it, it's kind of ringing a bell. All right, so let's get started into that section. So the first thing that we're going to cover, leveraging the site, is how to generate interest. So we're going to cover some very quick social media best practices, and I'm going to give you some communication skills that I have found, unfortunately, a lot of people lack them, but if we can improve in those communication skills, both online and in real life, I think that we will have more success with the actual conversations we're having. So the first thing that comes with communication is we have to understand, and this is very key, you guys, we have to understand that networking is not a network marketing thing. Networking is a business thing. There is no such thing as any successful business in this world, any successful organization, whether it's church or government or school, or any successful anything, that it's one person that made it happen, right? Anything that is really big or has ever worked or has ever had any kind of leverage or success, really, there's a team involved. People working together is what makes things work. And so the reason I say that is because I think a lot of unfranchised owners, they don't communicate the best because they're uncomfortable networking because they think of it as a network marketing thing or as an MLM thing or as a MarketAmerica thing. But networking is not a MarketAmerica thing. Networking is just a successful person thing, right? So a successful organization thing. And I just think that before you can do anything, you have to have your mindset in the right place so that you can communicate from a positive and honest perspective. And so I have the quote up right now from Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorite authors, and it says, "The richest people in the world look for and build networks and brands." And so keeping that in mind as you talk to your friends and your family and on your social media platforms, that is the right way to go about it. It's not a MarketAmerica thing. It is a successful business practice of any successful people or person in the world. And social media offers the biggest and largest referral program in history. End of the day, you guys, we have access to pretty much anybody, right? And we don't have to pay. Can you imagine if, starting next week, Facebook decided to charge us, for the ability to access the platform and use it? If you think about it, that's what our cell phone providers do, and that's what our, home phone providers do, and that's what every other company does. They charge you for access to their network and their people and to use that communication device. Well, social media doesn't do that. And the opportunity is massive, right? There are billions of people using it every single day, and they're not just using it, they are literally living in it. The statistic is 5.2 hours a day are spent scrolling through phones, and unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if that number has actually increased since the last time we've seen it. And so why am I saying this? The reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people sometimes question if, prospecting on social media works. Well, it does work because that's where the people are. And I actually learned this from JR a while ago, and Jason Pellin's on right now. You might remember this. We had this group called the IMBO group a little while ago, and JR's biggest focus was we have to teach people how to go fishing where in the ponds where the fish are. So you could be the best fisherman in the world, and if you just keep casting that pole into a body of water that doesn't have any fish, you're not going to catch anything. You're fishing in a pond with no fish or with very few options. But if like you could just shift, turn to the right, walk a couple steps, and go to that pond instead because all the fish are there, now you have some possibilities. And so if you're asking yourself, I know, Roger, only 5.2. If you're asking yourself, hey, should I be fishing in that pond of social media? The answer is absolutely, because people literally live on their phones all day, every day. It's an addiction. It's crazy. Like, they don't even think about it. It's habitual. People use their phones with the same sort of brain power as they do when you're driving to work and you don't even know how you got there, right? It's just so habitual that they don't even think about it. And so if that's where the people are, we need to, as franchise owners, make an active decision to be where the people are. And so I know I spent a little time on that, but it's important to understand what you're doing and why. So a couple of things. If you want to be successful interacting with people, there's a couple of no-nos and yes-yeses that I like to start off with, because I think it's really, really critical that if we do this, that we do it in a way that is going to make our audiences, our friends, our family, the people that we're connected with on social media want to engage with us versus alienating them. We do not want to alienate our friends and family or make them feel uncomfortable or make them not want to talk to us. And so there's a couple of things that you should keep in mind. Firstly, we don't spam or mass message. I've heard people say in the past, I'm working smarter, not harder. And so I sent out, a bunch of my party information to 15 people at once. And so I just want you to know that when you mass message somebody, whether it's on a text or whether it's on a direct message or an IM or on an email, all you're doing is giving that person permission to ignore you. So if I'm on a group text and there's 100 people or even 15 people, right, then here I am. I'm going to open it up. Actually, I'm in a couple of them right now. And if I'm on there, then I don't have to respond because I'm not being rude. There's 30 people responding. However, if my friend asks me a question and they text me and it's just one-on-one and I don't respond, now I'm just being rude, right? It's not socially acceptable. And so just keep in mind that when you are reaching out to your prospects on social media, whether it's a direct message or a comment or whatever, you don't want to mass message people because you're just giving them permission to not respond. Still do a one-to-one approach. Do not post products or sell products or the business repeatedly. If you want this to work, the examples I'm going to show you that do work, it's really important that you don't do that all day, every day. If you do that, again, you're going to annoy your friends and family, and the goal here is to attract them. So let's do things that makes them feel like they want to engage with you. And so you want to engage in a truthful, organic way, which I'll show you some examples. But again, you want to make them want to interact with you. Don't fake it. There's no reason to do it. Always be honest. Tell the truth. People can tell. And honestly, I am really good at being myself, and I'm not good at being anybody else. And so are most people. It's really important. People can tell when you're being authentic and when you're not. I also have there, please don't make fun of having a job. While some people may want to fire their boss, that might not be for everybody. And so I always say this, things like making fun of a job or politics, religion, government, that kind of stuff, I always just say, look, if you're a business owner in this industry, in the unfranchised business, our number one inventory, right? Our number one inventory is people. It's people that we have to collect. And so if you do things that make people feel excluded or, like they're not part of a group or an opportunity, you're automatically pushing away some of those people, some of that inventory, if you will. And so when you say and you make political statements sometimes, or if you say something like fire your boss or whatever, you might be making some people feel like, I don't know if this is the kind of person, you know what I mean? Like, so I always just say, like, if it's something that would, eliminate half of your friends list or make half of your friends list upset, I just say, ask yourself, what's more important? If this is that important for you to share and post and put out into the world, do it. If it's not that important, it's probably not worth upsetting half your friends list, because that's the industry we're in. And so I just wanted to keep that in mind. All right, so some of the yeses. Number one, post 1 to 2 times a day and story tell your life. So you want to keep it in a way that's engaging, that's truthful, that's all organic. And I'm going to get to the percentages in a quick second, but essentially your job here is to keep it engaging, not just post products in the business. If you are posting a sale type of post, then do it the way a customer would. So, when we did all of the kids back to school shopping, we bought a bunch of stuff at Staples. I saved 20%. I got free shipping. It arrived in 2 days, and I got 8% IBV. So that rolls right off my tongue because it's true, and I did it, and it was awesome. And I would share that coupon code with anybody. One of my best friends, Meg, she loves Free People. When Free People had a great coupon code out, on Spiritual Gangster as well, when they came out and they're offering a high cash back amount for our customers, I let her know right away. So it's just keeping it real, that kind of thing. Make the effort to talk to people, be social, direct message them, PM them, be positive. It's all the obvious stuff, in my opinion. I don't need to go into that much deeper. The most important thing is, as we start posting and driving traffic to our MarketAmerica.com website, the most important thing for us to keep in mind is that even though that is going to be the focus of the types of posts that we're making, if you want this to work for you, then it can only represent like 20% of what you're posting. The other 80% of what you're posting still needs to remain personal, family, lifestyle kind of stuff. So it is so important that you are sharing things that are happening with yourself, your family, your food, where you went, the music that you just listened to, that really cool article that made you cry because it was such a beautiful story. Positive stuff. By the way, positive stuff. If you share positive stuff, then people like to read what you have. If you're constantly complaining, people don't like to look at what you're saying, and you just kind of get labeled as a negative Nancy or a complainer, and you don't want that either. And so keep it positive. 80% is all the stuff that, by the way, that's the good news. Like, if you can just share a little bit about what's going on and the things that make you happy and positive things and quotes and things like that, you're already 80% ahead of the game. It's just mastering the way to share the 20% business stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about in just a moment. So, regardless of if your post is personal or business, almost every one of them should have a photo or a video. People tend to, so they tend to interact with media more than text. So I think it's more powerful to do that. And that's not that I think it, it's like what I've noticed, and statistics show it. And actually I was talking with Andrew Bonner, who's an incredible writer, and he was just talking about noticing that even with text, when you choose the color background, it kind of turns your text into some sort of a meme type of image, because it's a big colored background on Facebook now. When he chooses to do that versus just do straight up text, even those posts get more interactions because they are more visual. One last little tip is, when you share a photo album or an album with lots of photos and videos, those tend to get less interactions than a single photo. So if you can't choose one, if you can choose one, you should always try for that. So, social media posts that work, the ones that work for us as on franchise owners, they tell stories, they are engaging, they feature what we call product placement, or basically it's like a non-salesy way of talking about a product or the business. So all that basically means is the people that are getting the highest interactions, they are not sharing stock images of isotonics digestive enzymes with probiotics. What they're doing is they're taking a picture of that probiotic and or that maybe it's the new probiotic 10, which by the way, those are amazing. Or the enzymes next to their donuts and going, gosh, thank goodness for this lifesaver. And they're telling a story about how the enzymes help them, kill the bloat feeling, if that's what it did for them, right? Sharing a story. And so essentially, it's all about keeping it real. So I want to show you a couple of examples that we really liked. This is ones for the shopping annuity. So you can see on the screen, one from Sean, one from Ryan. And Ryan was just showing himself. By the way, I like all of these, but when Ryan did the selfie of himself doing an in-store pickup at Target, one of the things that is really powerful with that is people know what Target is, right? And so again, I was talking earlier about the importance of speaking in a language that your prospect understands. But basically, everybody knows what Target is. So when you say, oh, I'm, getting compensated in IBV or cashback or whatever it is, if you're just a customer or you're a non-franchise owner for shopping at Target, people go, wow, how'd you do that? And so the nice part about that is it's a great way to start a conversation because, again, it's a language, it's a term, it's a story they understand. To the right of that, I posted when Ryan went to, he went on some business trip. He went somewhere. I think he was doing a local on the West Coast. And while he was gone, I decided to order new floors and have them installed from Home Depot, and I got credit for that. And so I took some great pictures of what the floor looked like when we ripped it up, the before and after. And then again, I talked about the shopping annuity and how, I'm converting my spending into earning by shopping and replacing my floors from a partner store. And I can't tell you how many people asked, what is that? And I can't tell you, by the way, this is like no joke. Like our friends and our kids' friends' parents will show up to things, and people that we think are not saying anything to us, they will just randomly show up and be like, and we'll just be hanging out, and then they'll just turn around and be like, hey, what's up, shopping annuity? And it's because we make these kinds of posts all the time, and we're always doing hashtag shopping annuity, or like, hey, if I had my trim cafe in the morning, and I'm waking up and I'm like, how do you take your trim cafe? And I'm drinking it, and I'm like, hashtag shopping annuity, hashtag, morning coffee or whatever. And so whatever it is, I'm sharing all of that, but I'm always including the shopping annuity as well. And I'm not just talking about partner stores. I'm also talking about how I've converted into different products. I've converted from other brands to my own brands and still using that hashtag shopping annuity. So as you can see, in each of these examples, and I'm not going to go through each one individually, but in each of them, there are real pictures with real stories from real people, which is why they have real engagement. Right? And so they're not necessarily the nicest photo. I mean, no offense, Ryan, your selfie's really cute and you're really adorable, but that is not some professionally photoshopped, beautiful image that is just so attractive, and that's why it's getting this crazy engagement. The reason it gets the engagement is because he's telling an honest, authentic story, and it's interesting, it's intriguing. People want to know how. Again, that's the good news. This isn't about becoming some sort of social media guru or photographer or art director or art editor or whatever. It's about being honest. And by the way, if you want to have good content like that to share, it just simply starts with you. And so it starts with you actually converting that spending into earning and actually replacing to your own brands and having a story about Trim Cafe to share or Probiotics 10 or any of the other products that we have. Or choosing to go and do an in-store pickup and ordering through your website first instead of just going to the store. You have to create those testimonials so that you have good content to share. Again, that's the best news about all of this is if you do this correctly, it probably will increase your activity and your results producing activities because it's addicting. You start changing your habits and you want to share them and you're posting about them, and now you're like, oh yeah, I got to try this or I got to go there. Back to school shopping, every single thing, and hand to God, every single thing for both of our kids back to school shopping was done through the website. Every single thing, their clothes, their sneakers, and their supplies, every single thing. And so I'm going to post about that. I'm also going to make a post about, and this is fun, so I'm going to make a post about our shopping annuity sanitizer and tissues and pens and paper and notebooks and folders, and there was something else. Oh, the Clorox wipes. So almost every year, our kids' teachers, they have this wish list of additional supplies that they, if you don't mind, if you can buy them and give them back, then, or give them to the classroom. Otherwise what happens is these poor teachers, like, they end up having to buy these extra supplies for their classroom on their own. And that stinks. And so what most teachers have been doing in our communities anyway, is they have the school supply list for things that you have to buy for your kid, and then they have this like wish list of all those other things, and it's that hodgepodge of products like I just mentioned. So we are putting together all of that stuff, with the shopping annuity hand sanitizer, and I bought additional things when I bought the kids supplies and putting that in a care package, and I'm including, listen to this, I'm including a letter in that package and just saying, here's all this stuff. By the way, if you buy this, if you want to reorder this stuff on shop.com, you can earn cash back, which can be applied toward future purchases that, to replace this stuff that you're going to have to buy anyway. And so it's a great way to create some customers, but again, it starts with you. Okay, so sharing success and why. So the next thing I want to talk about is another great way to get people like excited or asking what's this or how do I learn about the biz is to celebrate other people's success. And so as you can see, the very first two posts on there are of Ashley and Jackie Smith. That's a mother-daughter duo there. And one had hit master coordinator and one had hit executive coordinator. So what we did was we teach each other to celebrate each other and tag each other, and that creates some success stories, right? I've done it. I remember doing this when Joanne She hit like field chairman. I was so proud of her. I was so excited. I shared her success stories. I'm so proud of my friend Joanne for achieving this goal, and this is incredible. Great job leading the way. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you, etc. And so sharing success stories of other people on your team is a great way to get this going. I remember when Josh Wagner, his dad owns a bank, and he's just incredible at everything he does, honestly. He sold cars, but he worked insane hours, and a lot of people were questioning whether or not he should do the business. Well, in one 4-week pay cycle, he had made, I don't know, like 18, I can't remember, it was a couple of years ago. I think it was $1,800, it might have been $2,100. And he just said, for a part-time effort to have that kind of extra income coming into the household was really, really something to think about. It was really exciting. And because he posted that little success and that little thing, it wasn't an unfranchised level, it was just a little bit like, wow, this really is going to be big for me, and I'm going to be able to cut down on my hours, It created a lot of interest, people saying, great job, how'd you do it, tell me more. Now, you might not have that success story to share for yourself right now, but you can do what I said a minute ago, and you can share somebody else's, and you can celebrate other people, which is great. Two other great examples over there of people sharing their why. People do that a lot. Why do you do anything? What motivates you? What gets you out of bed? And people love to engage with those kinds of posts because they can relate to them. So they're personal posts, but they're also like dual purpose posts. When you share your why or your goal, I think that that's like a great way to get people commenting, liking, engaging, asking questions. And it's because, again, it's talking about your family or what drives you, what your goals are. People love to get behind that. So that's a really successful strategy as well. A couple more there. You got Ryan on there talking about how, Ethan and Jordan, basically inspires him to always, look for do the best he can, and entrepreneurship. There's all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to make these slides available, but you can see there's lots of people here with great, I can't read the text because these slides are so small for me, but people working in a beautiful environment, or traveling, or getting to, choose their work hours. Here's the thing about this. When you share any of this stuff, the most important thing that you need to keep in mind is you must be authentic and you must be truthful. So you can't choose to make this post about how you're retired and you can work wherever you want if you're not even a coordinator and you just kind of stage a great photo. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It's, people, they buy you, they buy your authenticity, they buy your, that's what matters the most. And like I said as well, it's not about who has the prettiest photo or the most inspiring background or anything like that. What it comes down to is you just sharing where you are in your process right now, in your journey right now. And that's the best and most powerful thing you can do. And it's going to create more results than you trying to fake it or you trying to be something that you're not yet. Um, and so I just want to encourage everybody when it comes to posting, on the Go Now game plan, we give you some specific posts that are really effective, whether it's around a product or sharing your business or sharing whatever. When it comes to making posts about the business, just share your truth. Where did you buy that stuff? What product did you switch to? What did you experience when you took the product? What is your why in the business? How are you, you just left the most incredible local seminar of your life with Kevin Buckman, and you're feeling empowered, but most importantly, you feel like you learned exactly what you need to make your dreams come true. That's a truthful story. Well, for me, it is. Kevin Buckman makes me feel like I could walk through walls, like I'm like totally invincible. But like if you go to a seminar and you leave there feeling ready to go, share the story. You're not selling on social media. You're not trying to get that, a random person to go to the next local seminar. That doesn't happen in a post. But what does happen is starting the conversation. So the most important, number one goal of us when we're posting on social media is to start conversations. And I say it all the time. The unfranchised owners that have the most success are the ones that start the most conversations. The more conversations you create, the more possibilities that you have, the more people that you can move through the evaluation process, and the more people that get through that funnel, and the more potential customers and leads and business partners you can create. So your goal is to create conversation. So before you post anything on social media, the first thing you want to ask yourself is this the kind of post that I would like or that I would comment on? Is it the kind of thing that's engaging? Is it real? Is it truthful? Is it authentic? And if the answer is yes, go ahead and post it. Now, the last piece of that puzzle is we want to make sure that we are engaging, right? That we're actually telling them what we want to do eventually, whether it's in the comments, whether it's in a direct message, or whether it's in the post itself. So for us, when it comes to sharing the business, we want people to go to the MarketAmerica.com website. Right? And so here we go. It's all about the conversions. Make sure you visit marketamerica.com/my name. Or let's say it's a power profile. By the way, those are great to share on Facebook, power profiles of other people. So, it's Labor Day. You're celebrating labors. So pick a an industry and share something on your Facebook on Monday. And at the bottom, remember, it's very important you go to the bottom, you click share this page, and you share that. Remember, you want to send people to your site so that they will click around and stalk it and read about it and fill out that form. These websites do not come preloaded with prospects and leads. It is our job to generate the interest and send the people there. So on social media, if you take that social media advice and you apply it and you really put it to work and you're sending people, you have to remember to actually send people to the site. Right? Otherwise, you're just talking. And so eventually, whether that conversation continues in the comments again, or it continues in a DM or over text or in person, you want to make sure you're sending them to the website. Okay, so what about real life conversations? So, here's the thing. I'm gonna go through this part fairly quickly. I know we're running a little late on time here, but real life conversations. It's funny. People don't have like the ability to do this anymore. The most, because essentially, like I'm just gonna say this. I remember when we first started building our business, and I'm like, I'm going to go talk to this person, and I had this goal in my head, like, I'm going to recruit this person. And so I would be talking to the person, and I would say something, and then when they start talking back to me, I would start, like, sweating and freaking out and just thinking about, like, oh my goodness, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to respond? And I'm just so focused on what I'm going to respond with that, like, I didn't even hear what my prospect just said. And so what happens is because I'm constantly talking instead of listening, I lose the opportunity to identify where the pain points are, where the opportunity exists, because I'm so focused on myself that I don't hear what my prospect is saying. So people don't buy scripts. They can tell if like they're talking to their friend and then out of nowhere they say something like, you may or may not be interested, but it's obvious that we don't, when people say words that aren't their type of words, the way they speak, it's very obvious. And so the most important thing with your real life conversations is you need to be interested, not interesting. Interested means you're interested in the person that you're speaking to. Interesting people are the people that think everything they say is super interesting and they talk, 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 talk. And then the prospect doesn't get to say anything. And so if you want to get that prospect excited about new possibilities or whatever, you got to get that prospect talking. So you have to be interested in them. Does that make sense? Um, you have to learn to communicate effectively. You have to build rapport. You have to listen. Then you have to listen a little bit more and see where it goes. So essentially, the most important part about talking to people is the part where you aren't talking. So I'll repeat that. The most important part of talking with people is the part where you're not talking. It's the part where your prospect is talking to you and you're just listening and your focus is on them and you're listening and hearing the different opportunities. Oh, they're talking about being tired. They're talking about energy. They're talking about vacationing. They're talking about that new school that they want to send their kid to that's very expensive. Whatever the case is, if you can be quiet and listen, you can figure out one angle and keep that person talking there. And eventually, now you have an opportunity to introduce the business or product. And so that is our goal. So there are a couple of things to keep in mind when you are talking with your prospects. There's a difference between old school selling and modern school selling, is what I say. Number one is the old idea was high pressure selling. It was all that stuff we all heard. Deliver a strong sales pitch. Rejection is part of the sales process. It's not about how many yeses you get. It's about how many no's you're willing to get through. Or when you get an objection, you have to overcome the objection. Close the sale. Always be closing. Talk, talk, talk. Script, script, script. And it feels very 80s. It's very aggressive, and people don't respond to it well. Do you want to know how I know that people don't respond to it well? When's the last time somebody came at you with that kind of a high-pressure selling approach? It didn't work. It made you uncomfortable. And it's because we as people consume content today in 2018 and beyond. We consume content very differently. We're educated consumers. We find anything we want to know on the internet. And so we don't need people high pressure selling us or trying to give us education because we can look it up online. And so what's become more and increasingly more important in a world where that's gone away and we are so over contented is relationships. And so when you're looking to increase your communication skills, it's critical that you basically focus on building a strong relationship. And so we talk about prospecting and talking with people. And it comes down to starting conversations and not worrying about rejection, because if you're being rejected, you are probably selling too hard, right? Rejection is a result of selling. So if you focus on the conversation instead and just kind of navigating that, then rejection isn't even part of the process, right? Or when you get to an objection, you want to discover the truth behind that objection. So if somebody says, oh, I'm not interested in one of those things, well, the answer isn't to overcome that objection and say, well, we aren't one of those things. The answer is to find out why they would say that. Well, what does that mean? What does one of those things mean to you, right? Or if they say, oh, I don't have the money to start a business, it's expensive to start a business. Again, your objection is you don't have to overcome the objection. You have to find out what that means. So why would you say that? What does that mean to you? Or how much money do you think something like this would cost? That kind of a thing. But your goal, in any case, when you're talking with people online or in person, your goal isn't to sell anybody. Your goal isn't to recruit anybody. Your goal is to see if it's a good fit. That's it. Probably like the best news of the night. Your goal is not to sell or recruit anything. Your goal is simply to see if it's a good fit. And when it is to direct them in a direction where they can get more information. So when we're talking in terms of recruiting, then the follow-up there is marketamerica.com/your name. And it still works exactly the same way in person. And so, over the summer, there's a ton of barbecues. And so, like, you talk to a lot of people, and people always ask us what we do. And you want to know why they ask us what we do? Because we post about it, right? So we also have a lot of personal stuff on our Facebooks and our Instagrams, but we sprinkle in business posts all the time. And people are always asking what we do. And so we always send them to our website, whether we send them a link, if it's online, or text them or whatever, or whether it's in an email, or if I just say, go to my website, marketamerica.com/new reality. That's mine, right? And so I'm sending them there. They can click around. Again, it's the most non-invasive way for a prospect to be able to evaluate the business in their own privacy of their own home, and kind of like decide, do I want to ask this person for more information. Guys, I just want to say, before I move to the last section of this, right, that's a really big point. A lot of people, like what I said a couple of minutes ago, we consume content very, very differently today than we do, as years ago, right? And so we don't like to call up the local service provider and ask questions. We want to go to that service provider's website and read about them, and then we decide, do we want to talk to that person? That's just like human nature in today's day and age, right? And so with our business, it wouldn't be any different. And so you just have to keep that in mind. And so my biggest thing when I'm talking with people is I want to speak in a language they understand, in a way that is not weird, in a way that feels like comfortable and natural and normal, right? And so I know that people want to know what we do. They ask us all the time. But I also know that more people are afraid to ask us than that do. And so if I can give them a website link for them to click around on their own time in the privacy of their own home, where if they get intrigued, which likely they will, especially if they're visiting that opportunity page, right, or a power profile page, now that person can go, okay, this looks kind of cool. I want a little bit more information. I cannot stress enough like how powerful that one little strategy alone can be for you. If you could introduce your opportunity page or the Power Profiles page to one new person a week, I guarantee you people are going to click around, and some people are going to be interested and want to know more information. They're either going to fill out that lead capture, or they're going to contact you directly. And so the idea here is that you have to do it. All right, so we're going to talk about responding to leads. So this is how it looks. So the first thing to keep in mind is when somebody fills out this form, what happens is you get an email with all of their responses. So it'll be their name, email, contact information, and like a little box, right? So whenever those come in, what we do is we thank the person for their interest, and we focus on selling an appointment. You're not going to sell the business in an email. You're not going to. Just like we say in regular prospecting, you cannot sell the business in a quick conversation. You have to sell the appointment. You have to sell them on getting to the HVP, or doing a one-on-one, or a two-on-one, or a UVP. The exact same thing, the parameters apply here as well. And so I always ask them in my follow-up as a best practice, because I do a little bit of public stuff, right? So I'll ask them, like, where did you hear about MarketAmerica or Shop.com? And sometimes they'll say, oh, I was on your social media, or I found you on Google, or oh, my friend told me about you, or it's an actual friend or family, and I don't have to ask that question because I know exactly where they heard about it, right? But if I don't recognize the name, I always ask that question, because if it's somebody else's prospect, I want to make sure I give that person to, lead that person back to the person that they should be working with. And then finally, the last important part is I want to set up a time that's good to talk on the phone. So when I respond, I was laughing. I was talking with Dana. He's so great, Dana Galpern, right? Amazing guy. Does some really great things in our leads program. And he was asking, he was like, so what are some of the stuff that you guys respond back with in the emails? And I start forwarding him our responses, and it's like, hey, it's so great to hear from you. And first of all, my response is different every single time because it depends on what the person put on the comment box. So if they wrote like, I love this, I want to know more about the shopping annuity, when can we meet up or whatever, and they usually meet online or whatever, I'll write back, I'll be like, that's so great to hear from you. And then if I don't know the person or I don't recognize them, I'll say, where did you hear about MarketAmericaShop.com? By the way, when's a good time to jump on a call? 5-10 minutes, just want to chat first and see if we can pick a time to actually like sit down and talk through your question. And so it's always that ridiculously conversational. It's not like a copied and pasted professional autoresponder. It's literally like, that sounds awesome. Okay, and so when can we jump on the phone? That's it. That's how fancy I get. And I swear that's probably part of the reason why it works so well for us, is because, first of all, the person knows immediately that they're not being, like, auto responded to, and that's important. They don't want to deal with that stuff. And then the second thing is, I am putting myself in a position for success. If I can sell them on getting them on the phone, I can ask more questions, I can learn more about the person, I can understand what their goals are better, and I can help connect the dots for them. If I am trying to give them information based on like 2 sentences that they put in a lead capture instead, now I'm kind of like boxing myself into this corner. Here I am, I think I know what this person wants. I think they only want to know about the shopping annuity, and this is what they want to hear. So I give them just enough information to make some sort of an uninformed opinion about what this business is. And so I don't want to do that. I don't want to dump a lot of information, over email right away. What I want to do is sell them on jumping on a phone call with me, so I have an opportunity to build a little bit of rapport and build a little bit of a relationship. And by doing that, I can identify some more important things to that person and eventually get them to see the plan. So here's a great example. Hey, Mary, thanks for submitting your request to learn more about Market America. How'd you hear about us? Let me know where you're located and what time may work best for you to jump on a quick call. You can reach me at blah, 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 blah. Looking forward to talking to you soon. That's simple, you guys. Now from there, here's what happens. They're either going to respond to you when you write that, or they're not, right? That's it. That's the good news. They're either going to respond or they're not. It's not that hard. So if there is no response, then what I do is I wait a couple of days, and I keep track of this. I'm going to show you how I keep track of this. We send a few follow-up materials a couple of days later. And so great follow-up materials would be like a video link, and the best ones can be like the short and quick ones. So you can either share like, IamShop.com, or I love those videos, or the I'm an Entrepreneur videos, still love them. I love the Fat Joe ones too, but maybe not the best right here. That's a better one for down the road, or just to get people talking, or a great one to share on social media. But 3 to 4 days later, like something about the business, the quick 3 to 5 minute videos are the best ones. Things about the shopping annuity, about cash back, or whatever, or about the concept of residual income. Send that in and just say, hey, haven't heard back. Just wanted to send you a couple of videos. If you have any more interest, you want to jump on the call after you watch these, let me know. We'll find a time that works for you. That's simple. I'm still giving them a little bit of stuff, and I'm going to continue to do that until they tell me not to. Because most of the time, people aren't responding, not because they don't care or they don't want to, but rather because they ran out of time or they forgot. Now, if they do respond, again, my goal is to book an appointment right away. It's important for them to have a chance to get to know you, vice versa, build a relationship, and I just hit this really hard, so I'm not going to do it again. But again, essentially, your goal is to take the online offline. And so when you're prospecting on social media, or you're dealing with leads coming in through MarketAmerica.com, or people texting you or DMing you about the business, even about the business, your goal is to get them on a phone and get them offline. So from there, there's some additional effective follow-up tools that you can keep in mind. Our job in this entire process, I always just say I'm a professional dot connector. That's what I do. I connect the dots. So what you have to ask yourself for every single one of your prospects, every single person that shows interest on any of your social media posts about the business, or people that you've talked to, or people that have sent in a lead form through the website, is to ask yourself, where is that prospect in their evaluation prospect? What do they want to know right now? What is the one thing that they want to know right now? And what do they want to learn more about? Let's say they did do a one-on-one. They did sit down and check things out. Now what do they want to know? Okay, so they saw the plan and they want to know more about credibility. Great. Leverage your MarketAmerica.com site and send them the company page, right, where they can learn about our philosophy and about our awards and about our executive team, right? Learn where the content lives on your website, and this way you can use that to guide your one-on-one conversations, your sit-downs, and your follow-ups. Again, it's back to that ability to talk in themes, but also the ability to leverage the content from your website as an effective follow-up resource. So I put this up here because I think it can be very helpful. So I gave you a preview at the beginning of the session today, and we're almost done. We're coming in for a landing in just a few moments. But essentially, MarketAmerica.com has those main pages: innovation, product, people, opportunity, community, and company. And below each of those pages, you can see what content is featured on each. So as an unfranchised owner, you own a business. This is your corporate website. This is not some random website. This is your website, and you should know what content lives on each page. And this way, when you're connecting the dots for your prospects that are coming in through this social media prospecting or interpersonal prospecting or coming in through the leads, then you can say, okay, this person saw the plan, and they just want to know more about our standards for products. Great. Well, you know what? I know that there's a quality assurance section on the product page of my MarketAmerica.com site. And that is the specific follow-up that my prospect needs. So the most important thing to do with your follow-up efforts is to be extremely specific. Do not ask like, hey, let's follow up. That is an ambiguous question, and you're going to get an ambiguous response. But if you ask specifically what they want, what do they want to know more about, and if you can connect them to that information through your website or wherever, then you are winning the game, and your effectiveness to close these leads is just going to get better and better and better. So I take a screenshot of that. I would make it a point as an unfranchised owner and as a business owner to familiarize myself with what's available to me so that I can leverage this at the appropriate times. If it's somebody's first time, and again, you don't want to just jump right into a PowerPoint with somebody, then use that opportunity page to sit down with them and talk them through the business. The last thing I want to just mention as a possible way to stay organized is to leverage the unfranchised prospecting app. If you have a lot of prospects coming in, a great way to send them great video content, the About MA PDF, the different catalogs, like your product catalog, motives catalog, web center catalog, everything is preloaded into the app. So you can actually keep track of your all of your prospects, and you can send content through the app that's preloaded. What's really great about that is, let's say you get a lead that comes in through your MarketAmerica.com site, and they want to know more about TLS, but you don't know that much about TLS. Well, the Unfranchised Prospecting app is free to us as unfranchised owners. Log in, go down to University Majors and Specialties, find a video or a PDF about TLS, and send them that. All of the content has been pre-selected by the top business builders and retailers and field development people in each of these areas. So, again, when it comes to connecting the dots, it really comes down to knowing what you have, where it lives, and how to use it. And so understanding what's on MarketAmerica.com and what's on your Unfranchised Prospecting app can be a really helpful and positive way to maximize your follow-up. So you guys, these are some great characteristics of successful people. Everybody is going to be killing it between now and World Conference, and I just want to let you know, I truly do mean this from the bottom of my heart, is like, if everybody did this like once a day, they made a success, like just one kind of business post every other day, or they made an active decision to expose the business once a day through conversation or social media, and they understood how the prospecting app could keep us professionally organized, like really on top of our game so we do a great job. And then more than that, how our website can help capture that interest, right? So if somebody's super interested on social media or in person, just having the website as a way to capture that interest is a missing part of the puzzle for a lot of people. And if we understood truly that if we chose to do that just once a day between now and World Conference, there would not be enough seats in the arena to fit everybody, because the duplication would be insanely massive. So I want to encourage everybody understand clickthroughmarketamerica.com, take an active prospecting approach to the richest people in the world, look for and build networks. Nobody gets anywhere alone. And so if you want to be successful in this business or any business or organization, you have to commit to that. Stay organized. I encourage you to download the Unfranchised Prospecting app for free. Click through your MarketAmerica.com site and send people to it. Respond to those follow-ups and make the most of it. You guys can do it. I believe in you. Everybody believes in you. We'll get there together. And if we did this, I'm telling you, we will sell out the arena. There will not be any seats available in Miami. So you can do it, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.